Couple of fronts. Lindsay Rhodes and Scott Hansen here. Welcome to NFL Total Access, presented by Rocket Mortgage by Quicken Loans.
Well, Lindsay, the NFL superstar with problems from head to toe got his answer from up top on his top today. Antonio Brown lost his grievance hearing. He will not be allowed to wear his old helmet, and it sounds like he's resigned to the fact that he'll have to find a new helmet. Brown was in a standoff with the league over the helmet he's worn for most of his career. The helmet is an older model, and this season it's no longer allowed under the NFL's health and safety policy. Brown lawyered up to try and wear the old helmet, but today a neutral independent arbitrator ruled against the Raiders receiver. Now, Brown reportedly had threatened to quit football if he didn't get his way on the helmet issue. But today on social media, he posted, "While I disagree with the arbitrator's decision, I'm working on getting back to full health and looking forward to rejoining my teammates on the field. I'm excited about this season, appreciate all the concerns about my feet." Of course, a reference that you probably know is to Brown's frostbitten feet that has caused him to miss most of training camp. Hard Knocks only has 24 hours to edit this week's episode. Tom Pelissero, who joins us with the latest on the grievance hearing. Tom, how did it go down today?
Well, Antonio Brown participated in a 2-hour hearing via phone with a third-party neutral arbitrator on Friday. He laid out his case for being allowed to continue to wear his old helmet. But this grievance was always a Hail Mary. The NFL and the NFL Players Association have been in lockstep on what is an important player safety issue. The union has supported the league's policies. They've worked together on laboratory testing in recent years. And because Brown's helmet is no longer made and is over 10 years old, it cannot be certified by the National Operating Committee on Standards for Athletic Equipment and thus cannot be worn in games. That's not a new policy, and Brown is not alone. There are dozens of other NFL players who have switched helmets through the course of this offseason. In fact, I'm told members of the NFL's operations department have been in contact with Brown since April about this. They have sent him other helmets. Obviously, Brown was not happy with his options, but now he really has no choice. Because this is a non-injury grievance, he is out of options under the collective bargaining agreement. His only option now would be to try to sue the NFL in federal court, but that would also be an extreme long shot. Based on the statement that we saw from Brown this afternoon, it seems you can expect Antonio Brown to be back with a new helmet on the practice field just as soon as those gnarly feet will let him.
Tom Pelissero. Okay, so the top is taking care of the feet issue. That's still ongoing there, Lindsay.
Yeah, but we'll see.
I think he's wearing 10-year-old cleats, too, apparently.
If they're nice and broken in, yeah. They're not wearing him in the cryo chamber.
As you mentioned, should be one heck of a Hard Knocks episode tomorrow night. Right? After a very interesting practice tomorrow morning. Will AB be there? Will he be practicing? Can we finally see what this looks like? Him in Oakland. It's been a rocky start, Sean O'Hara.
Yes.
Lige Douzable also with us here in studio, a 10-year veteran defensive tackle.
Hey, how you doing?
We had some battles back in the day, man.
The
whole team
right here.
I'm sure you've seen some wild stuff in your time in the NFL. What do you see happening here? He says he's going to report. Is this over? Everything good?
I believe it's over because he really has no more strings to play. I mean, if he comes in and is the Antonio Brown that we know and expect, the guy that works really hard on the field, I think it'll be all water under the bridge. If I'm a veteran on this team, I just want him to come in, get that continuity with Derek Carr, build that continuity up on our offense. He is the best player on our offense, and we haven't had him for almost a month in training camp. We need him there to get that continuity. There was a lot of excitement going on in Oakland with them signing him, Trent Brown as a tackle, but now it's kind of lost its lack of luster because of all this stuff with his foot and his helmet. If AB comes in and works like he always has worked, I think it'll be water under the bridge.
The locker room is a very forgiving place,
Definitely.
And everybody in that locker room knows we are a much better team with AB. So no doubt they all want him there. Obviously they want him in practice, but you want him for the regular season. But the layers to this onion, you can't not cry when you read about all these different things, the feet, the helmet, and it just kind of goes counterintuitive to what Mike Mayock has said and what John Gruden has said when they built this draft. 3 first-round picks, and each one of these guys, the one thing they said was they love to play the game of football. The culture we're building here is guys that just want to work hard, practice hard. They're willing to do anything to win. Right? In the words of Al Davis, just win, baby. Well, this is kind of going against everything that they have been talking about. So for AB, listen, I hope this lights an extra fire under his feet, a little extra fire for him to say, you know what, I've got to come back and prove that I'm worth all this drama, because everybody's answering questions. To your point, this isn't just the players answering questions to the media, the local media, the national media. This is Hard Knocks. Everybody in the NFL, everybody in the world is watching this show, and they're going to have to see all of this play out.
You know, it's interesting we're talking about whether or not he's a hard worker or not, that like him staying away, right, because that's the word on him, is that he outworks everybody, but we're not seeing him put that work in at training camp. I want to know from a football standpoint whether or not the concerns that he has about his helmet now factor into what we see moving forward, because again, it's related to vision as a wide receiver.
It's the two sidebars. You know, he wears the old, I used to call it the Emmitt Smith one, or the two sidebars here on the newer helmets are in a little bit of a different place. Yes. And he says when he's looking to the left or to the right trying to catch a ball, that it's messing with his vision. Believe it?
I think it's valid. A guy that's undersized, I want to say he's too undersized, but a guy that's undersized and makes dramatic catches, I think the bars being a little bit wider helps him on his periph when he has to catch that back shoulder last second pass. And you know this, Sean, we're creatures of habits. And on Sunday, we want everything perfect. If we've been wearing a helmet or we've been wearing pants for 10 consecutive years, we want that same helmet and we want those same pants. So I understand why he has a gripe about this, but those are the rules. I mean, Tom Brady had the same helmet, Joe Staley, Aaron Rodgers. These guys have all changed helmets. They weren't happy about it, but the rules are the rules. You got to change your helmet.
It seems like a silly argument to try to put your feet up against and say, look, I'm standing my ground on this. But to your point, Lindsay, it's about that comfort factor, right? I'm comfortable in this helmet. I know exactly where my blind spots are. You know, Scott's like when you got your new Tesla, right? You had to fix the mirrors, right, and adjust the rear and make sure that I don't have any blind
on that.
spots.
There's cameras all the way around that.
He's got to get used to that. But to your point, the only way to get used to it is to get on the field and to be out there doing it and to say, all right, now I'm ready to rock. I know that, you know, this is a little bit different and I've got to look this way.
And to be clear, if you've been wearing the same pants for 10 years, change those too. I'm just going to make that NFL rule right
socks.
Now. It's a morning practice for the Raiders tomorrow. MJ Acosta will be there. Might want to follow her on Twitter as the next step in the AB story plays out.